You're what you're saying. So I am back once again. It's been a while, I know, but again, I only really come onto here on this channel when I've got something that I believe is actually genuinely valuable to share, something that I've learned from my own experiences. And yeah, I mean, recently I've just had some realizations that I want to talk about, and so there'll be a bit more content over the next few days or so, I suppose. But yeah, today I wanted to talk about essentially this idea of doing what resonates, because I think in this whole journey of improving yourself as a person, it's very easy to get caught up in all these different things that different people are telling you and basically trying to implement it all and just getting overwhelmed, right? Just having all this information, all this input, and just not really knowing how to apply it and actually stay consistent, because it's really easy to take so many pieces of advice. Like a good example is the gym, right? Like you go online and you want to improve maybe you want to change up your workout schedule, or you just want to get into working out, whatever it is, like whatever stage you're in. And you see so much advice like, okay, the best way to do it is 6 days a week. Oh no, it's 4 days a week and do this routine. No, do 2 days a week and do this routine. Do this split and all these things. And it's so overwhelming, and it means that because you're so conflicted on actually what to do, you never even get into the gym in the first place. Like you're not consistent. You're actually spending more time considering what to do than actually doing anything, right? And this is where what resonates and just doing what's authentic to you really comes into play. So what I mean by what resonates. So essentially recently I've been kind of getting into language learning, and acquisition. They call it acquisition, not learning. You can do your whole research on languages and all that stuff if you want to, but this is just an interest of mine, right? So I've been looking into languages recently, and a really important lesson that I've learned about when it comes to what kind of things you should consume and the inputs that you should take in when it comes to language learning. It's really important that those things that you take in are things that you actually care about and are actually interested in. And there was this really great quote from a guy who's a big polyglot who's learned a bunch of languages. This Stephen Krashen, I think. He's a big neuroscientist kind of guy, and he basically said, like something along the lines of the like the best method of doing the thing is the thing like you'll actually stick to. So essentially, the most effective thing that's going to work for you in terms of getting towards your goal, whatever goal you have in any area of life, is just the thing they're actually going to do consistently, right? And so, for example, with the gym, going back to the gym, like the workout schedule, like the workout routine that you'll actually do on a week-to-week basis, on a day-to-day basis, whatever it may be, the one that you actually do and that you actually enjoy and can actually stick to long term is the one that you will actually do. And so to overwhelm yourself with all this information and all these inputs of like, okay, should I do this or should I do that? Or should I do this or whatever it is, right? Working out, again, when it comes to languages, it's like me picking what shows and what music and what films and what videos or what books should I read to get that input. It's deciding for that. And it's just realizing like the most important thing is just doing what you'd actually stick to and what actually resonates and what actually feels right to you. This is what it comes down to, like what actually feels right to you. And I guess there's a big feeling right now in the whole self-improvement space. And I think a lot of people are starting to see this now, which is very good because I saw it and I realized it was having quite a negative impact, was this whole idea of just getting all these inputs and all these desires of other people telling you what to do and what's best for you. And a lot of the actions that I was taking, especially, and you can probably relate to this, right? It's just, it didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like authentic to me. It didn't feel like I was actually moving forward, and I didn't feel better about myself by doing the actions. It just felt like another thing to do, just more work, more things to load onto my life that were unnecessary and that didn't resonate with me. You know what I mean? Because, like, a good example, I don't know, like reading these self-improvement books, right? Reading is really powerful. You can get so much out of reading. But for me, it got to a point where I'd read all these books. Like, I've got a fucking bunch of books here. You can kind of see them all up there, right? That's a fucking card. Ignore that. That's a birthday card. But all these books here, right? Like, I read all those and they were really helpful. But it got to a point where, like, I kind of read all these books and I was like, yeah, I've got all this information. I'm going to utilize it. And I am utilizing it, And, but I got told by people online that you should keep on reading, read for hours a day, keep learning, keep constantly improving as a person because this will make you improve, you know. But I got bored. It got fucking boring. I was like, I'm just forcing myself to read. Reading was supposed to be enjoyable, and now it's become a chore. That's when you know that something doesn't resonate and you're doing it wrong for you, is when it becomes a chore. Again, for language learning, for me, is a good example is like when I know that I'm doing it wrong, when I'm watching or reading or consuming something or like listening to an audio, whatever, that I find boring. Like when it becomes a chore and I feel like this is just shit. Like I started this for enjoyment because anything in life that you do, you start it for a certain reason. Exercising, you start to be healthier, to get in shape, right? To feel better about yourself and to enjoy the process. Learning a language should be the same thing. Reading books should be the same thing. Anything in life should be the same thing. Like you should enjoy the process and you should like the process. Like you should enjoy that progress that you're making and the process of making the progress to get to the end goal. You should enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying it, it's become a chore, then you're doing it wrong. And there's no need for you to do things that don't resonate with you, especially when it comes down to something that you're just doing for the sake of what you chose to do it. Like if I didn't learn a language, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Nothing would really fucking happen. But I'm doing it because I'm interested in doing so. And so why would I make it boring for myself? If I'm doing it for myself, then why would I make it boring? I would obviously make it fun. I'd make it enjoyable. If you want to learn things, don't read books that you fucking don't give a shit about. You know what I mean? Just because someone told you to. Read books that you actually are interested in. Do the workouts that you look forward to doing, that resonate with you, that you enjoy doing. Do the workout we're doing. You can do 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever the fuck it may be. Whatever works for you is what matters. Of course, don't get mixed up that, you know, doing what resonates means just being lazy and not doing anything and taking action. What I mean is in terms of actually taking action and doing things and improving your life in terms of what resonates with you. Make sure you're doing things that you actually enjoy. You know, make sure you're doing things that you don't dislike, because again, it can become very repetitive when you've got this information coming in and you feel like you have to pile on all these new things and you realize a lot of it just doesn't even resonate, but you're told by people online, you know, I'm more successful than you, so you should listen to me. But it's like, yeah, but that works for you. It won't necessarily work for me, and that's okay. People are different. No one's better than someone else just because they have a certain way of living life. You know what I mean? It comes down to what resonates with you at the end of the day. So if you find that anything that you're doing in life that started as like a I'm doing this for me, like I'm doing this to improve my life, and it's become boring to do so. Of course, we all hit plateaus, right? We all hit times where it doesn't feel as exciting as it used to. But you need to understand, like, if you're doing the most that you can to make it as enjoyable as possible, then that's what's most important. And this is the thing when it comes to this whole idea of like you have to suffer, you have to do things that you fucking hate. I somewhat disagree. Like, of course, you should do things that maybe you don't like in the moment, but are good for you. Of course, you should. But like that will come with anything you do anyway. But this idea that you have to hate what you're doing to make progress in life is terrible. Like, so you're telling me that I have to dislike the process to then make progress. That's a terrible thing, especially if you're just doing it for fun, for yourself. Again, like I'm doing with languages or whatever you're doing. Like, make it as enjoyable as possible. Why wouldn't you? Why would you not want to enjoy the process? Why would you force yourself to be miserable doing something when you wanted, like, you liked the idea of doing it and now you're doing it in a way which is dislikable, that you don't like doing it. So now it just feels like a chore, like, oh, now it's time to do this. It should feel like, no, yes, I get to do this now. That's how it should feel. If it doesn't feel like that, I recommend that you do some thinking and you do some journaling or whatever it may be, do some introspection and just figure out, how can I make this fun? A good question to ask yourself is, if this wasn't work, which it shouldn't be, like, if this was fun, what would it look like? If this whole process of doing this thing was fun, what would it look like? And then you'll probably find your answer that way. But yeah, just a quick lesson I wanted to share because I found myself getting caught up in a lot of like inputs and unnecessary information and just overwhelming myself with ideas and things to do on certain topics, and it just isn't beneficial. The best thing to do is just finding what resonates with you truly and then doing that. And then as long as you can do it consistently long term, that is what matters. Again, the best actions that you can take are the ones that you can actually stick to. They're the most effective because you're actually going to stick to them, aren't you? There's no point wasting your time on things that you hate doing, especially when it's just for you, for yourself, something that you personally want to do because it's an interest of yours or whatever it may be, whatever other reason. But yeah, boys, I hope that you got some, you know, value out of this video and that you're going to maybe hopefully rethink certain things in your life that you realize, you know what, this doesn't resonate. I'm wasting my time with this. I don't actually enjoy this anymore. You know, all the reasons that I started this have just been all the actions that I've been taking to make progress in this thing that I started for a reason of I wanted to do this because I was excited to do this or whatever. I just counterintuitive. Now I just feel like shit doing it. You shouldn't feel like that. But yeah, of course, I'm just saying the same things over and over again in this video. Fucking hell, I probably fucking skipped loads of it, haven't you? But yeah, boys, I hope you got some value out of this video, and yeah, man, take care, and until the next one, stay focused.